Welcome to our new home. We're going to give this a try today and see if this is going to work. We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting going, but we think we have it now. May, we found out that we couldn't have our meetings anymore on Side, which was fortunate because we had the summer to look for another place. So I probably went to about half of the churches in Bloomington, and finally we found St. Luke's. It's a good location for us. It's very close to where we were meeting. It's a nice place, and they wanted us here, so I think it'll work out great. So another thing, we can let ourselves in on Saturday morning, and we don't have to have anybody here, so we can do that ourselves, which is nice because some places you'd have to have somebody let you in, then you have to pay for that person, and that made things expensive. So this will work out great. Good job, Mike. Well, thank you. Yeah, it probably took a month and a half, to get everything going. We had to have Helen get a certificate of insurance. There was just a lot of things, but by the 1st of August, we were ready to go. So I'm glad to be here. All right. So kind of want to be here by 9:30. Today it didn't really matter too much because there's another group coming in for a funeral, and this would be probably where they'd have their lunch. But typically we would leave the door open till like 9:30. Then we probably should go out and shut it because we don't want anybody else coming in after a meeting starts because we can't monitor that door. So going forward, if it's just us here, we'll get somebody to go out and just shut that door. You could go out, but nobody can come in. And if you do happen to not get here by 9:30, then maybe we'll have to keep posting my phone number and Warren and a few other people. But just call somebody in here if you know that, and then we'll get somebody to open the door for you. If there's a heavy snowstorm like pattern in the past, just call one of the officers or anybody else that you know, and we'll try to get it out to you in an email if there's going to be a big snowstorm on the day. So don't take off if you don't think there's going to be a meeting. If it's rough going, don't do it. All right. Are there any new members or visitors here today? Nobody? We had a bunch of signups at the state fair. We're kind of hoping maybe somebody would show up today. Broken saw blades. Well, the only one we've had recently is Judy Gale Roberts. I don't know if you've heard of her, but first, probably everybody has got a pattern from her in their collection. And so she's I guess, one of the giants in the intarsia business. The guru. Yeah. Katie, you took a class from her. 2 classes.
I can't.
What was your impression of her as a teacher? Very good.
I'm so choked up about it. I can't talk.
Yeah, Katie was her friend, so, but thank you. How old was she? I'm thinking she was in her 70s.
We're guessing.
We haven't got the obituary yet, so I'm not sure, but she wasn't that old. There were some free patterns in the other room. I don't know if they made it back here. If they did, there's a couple of books and a few other things. Go ahead and help yourself to any of that you would like. And then I got some of those from a gentleman down in Pella, Iowa. I don't know how he got our address or name. I think Carl put our last meeting onto YouTube, and I think he might have seen it there. At any rate, he mailed it up to Creekside, and then they mailed it to me. Here about the middle of June, I wonder where'd this come from, but it says Pella, Iowa, and so I wrote the guy back and thanked him, and I sent him a little cross that I had made, and he had sort of a religious bent to the patterns he had, so I thought he might enjoy that. Patty, did you have oh, okay, that's your hand was up. All right, Creekside update. Katie and I attended a leaders meeting on August the 5th. And it looks like Creekside will be open until the summer of 2025, at which time it'll be torn down for the new community center. So the groups that are there now will continue at least through the fall and the winter. And come spring sometime when they need it, that'll be it for the people over there. So we're probably fortunate that we left before everybody else. It was easier for us to find a place because they still have to get somewhere. Supposedly, the Department of Motor Vehicle office in Bloomington that was used and closed might be where they would meet, but it needs some updating, especially the bathrooms, before they could use it. So we'll see about that. So I think that's coming for them. Now, I don't know what they will do with the shop. People that had the rock shop, you know, they have equipment. And even the leather people had quite a bit. So it isn't like you can just move the room, but especially those two shops, you got equipment. So they may have to close and store the equipment for a while until they get going again. All right. Secretary report. Steve, do you have anything to add to what was in the newsletter? Nothing. Okay, thank you. Helen, do you have a report?
I do.
Okay.
So this is, I dated it as of August 31st. This is what happened over the summertime. We started with a $3,602.47 balance. We collected $75 in dues and merchandise sales. And we had $273.81 in expenses. That was business cards and some blade test expenses from that blade test we did last spring. So we ended now with $3,403.66. And then we have $60.75 in cash on hand.
Okay. Yes, we will be paying $40 a month to meet here, which was actually about the best rate we found. You know, most places were charging about $32 an hour, which would have cost us $100 for a meeting. And since we only bring in about $1,000 in dues, you can see where that was going to go. So this being a close, able to get in on Saturday and a reasonable price, it really worked out pretty well. So I think it's probably the best place we could have found. Let's see, Roger, the TLC toy report.
Okay, we had, right now for cars, we're at 840. That's not counting today. And then for paintables, 1,174 for the year. So we're doing pretty good. A lot of the cars have already gone out already. The police department, stuff like that. So they can always use more. I've got some patterns back there. Help yourself. We're going to start working on Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff. So we want to get that done. Also, I'm going to be going up to their shop on Thursday. If there's anybody that wants to go up there, they're welcome to go up. Really a nice woodworking shop. And you can see what TLC Toys does up there. Really nice place.
Yeah, a group of us went up there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth the trip if you're interested at all. It's a really nice shop. Coal building all full of wood that they use, so it's been donated. So it's really nice setup. Steve, I want to congratulate you on the TLC toy article that was published by Fox Chapel Publications. Did you received a copy of that, didn't you? It was also included in the newsletter.
The editors of the magazine are very nice to work with, very congenial. They would get a hold of me as soon as I got a hold of them. It's a very nice group.
Yes. Well, thanks for your work on that. Okay, Katie, would you report on the Girl Scout Leaders class this year?
Well, we expected 16 participants and there were only 7. But those 7 people were really into it. They all were excited and they were ready to bring it home. I know one of them at least joined the Facebook. It went off as well as could be expected. Do you have something else to add, John?
No, it was, yeah, it was disappointing because, because of the turnout, but,
It was very disappointing, because we usually do 2 classes, 8 in each class, and 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. The morning class only had 5 people, and the afternoon class only had 2. So, we wanted to have a discussion about whether or not we want to do this every year. I know that I'm ready to take a break from it, but if other people, if somebody wants to pick up on it, we're happy to do that. I mean, I'd be happy to help, give all my information and stuff.
did you talk to them about it at all?
I have not, because I wanted to talk here about it first. Does anyone have any thoughts about that?
I feel like we could do it every other year. I don't think we need to, having my daughter in the Girl Scout always being this year. And there's always a new crop of leaders coming out. So every year you have a new group of girls coming in. So I think if we give it a year off, that'll allow demand to build up a little bit. And then we'll have, when you do it one, you just, fill the brown. Plug too young for that, you want to go into the, I think the brownie cadet, I think the next level. So maybe, they're the brownie, they're too young for this, but, next year they'll be cadets, then you'll want to do it. So if we skip a year, I think we'll let demand build up.
Right.
We're doing it every year, it's like flush the brownie, there's still brownies, the brownies are here. Yeah, they're pretty young, now, another cadets, now I'm interested, so I think you can just let them in.
The same thing happens with the leaders. They turn over too.
Exactly, that's what I'm really just kind of.
Right. And this year, the lead, many more, even though it's a smaller class, there were more leaders who had, a couple more leaders who had cadets. And they were really interested in that. Because we give them a whole slideshow in their goodie bag, their take-home bag. So they can just take their thumb drive and put it in the computer and teach their Girl Scouts.
How many times our Girl Scouts do that? There are a ton of games at the beginning, and a ton of rounding, and it starts to drop off as they get older. So there would be even for hundreds groups of brownies and babies, and no one's learning, their kids are already doing other things, so there's not as many older kids. But I think the demand go up.
So every other year might be a good idea, Bill.
Have you ever considered extending this to the Cub Scouts?
Oh, we've tried. We just haven't got the right connections yet. If you have a connection,
Well. 7 years ago, I was all in with 2 boys and Cub Scouts people and so on.
yeah,
And Northern Star Council, which is who controls the Cub Scout, Boy Scouts and the converted stuff. Part of what the Cub Scouts do, they always have to make travel and stuff anyway, so. I think the point about overturning meetings with the you just, so it's always worth revisiting this out and finding new people who creates our.
maybe we can have a Zoom meeting with interested volunteers.
That's all I'm there.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Any other?
Patty had
discussion?
something.
Guys,
So I was just gonna say, maybe we, with Girl Scouts, if we have a commitment of 8 or 10 leaders, if we don't have that many, then we cancel for a year.
you're right, that's another good idea, to not do it if they don't have at least 8.
Yeah, they can vote
One,
one for
yeah.
next year then.
A full
Because
class.
that same people.
Right.
Still be there.
I'm gonna add one other suggestion is you could maybe ask them to put a deposit down of just $25. And if they show up, they get the $25 back.
It's not that they didn't show up, they didn't sign up.
Oh, they didn't sign it. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought they.
That's
had
okay.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would suggest taking a year off.
Yeah, we need to take next year off, really. I mean, I'm gonna,
Yeah, we should. I'm with you, I'm off for a year too. I think we should call them right away, tell them.
okay. I'll do
Alright.
that.
It's terrible.
If there's anything else.
All right.
Raw chicken.
I think I see a new member back there. I remember you from the state fair. Introduce yourself and tell where you're from.
Yeah, you're,
Not here.
Yeah.
Chicago, you call me T. I originally from Chicago, but I've been here for 12 years at Northeast Meetings. So I always see you guys every year at the state fair, and I always there when you show up. So this year I didn't show up. Thank you.
Starting scrolling, and so
Yeah, all those blue ribbons and strollers got. No, it's just like the dogs.
welcome to the club. And if you have any questions, ask anybody, and we'll get you some help. Okay, good to see you here. Okay, I think the next item is Warren and the golf outing on Monday.
Oh, sure. But, yeah, this coming Monday, gonna do our annual President's Cup, tournament. And there's 10 of us that are, show something. 10 of us that are gonna be involved this year. Katie's gonna come around just to. Katie's just gonna be there to enjoy the outing. She's not gonna golf, but,
I never did before either, except
oh, yeah.
I was going
You
to
brought your
club.
brother. So, yeah, so there's all the usual suspects there. But Mike Evans is also gonna join us this year for the first time, so welcome, Mike.
All right.
And we'll have a good time. We do it out at Creeks Bend. It's New Prague. It's a course where I play all the time. And I've been able to have enough free passes, so nobody has to pay for their green fees. But if they want a cart, they'll have to pay for that.
10 yet?
The first tee time is at 10. We'd like to have it be out there by 9 or so. A little after would be great. We can hit some golf balls, warm up a little bit, and take some pictures. And then afterwards, if you want to stick around, we can have a bite to eat or have a beer, whatever we want. So that's about it.
All right. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if anybody's interested, we can still squeeze somebody in, right?
Yeah, if there's 1 or 2 more, we could easily get you in, sure.
All right. Well, thanks, Warren. Don Gore, do you have a state fair report?
Yes. It was hot.
Is your brother retired, Katie?
Yes. He's not doing real well.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He's an Air Force pilot. Don?
A
Yeah,
jet
it's-
pilot and a
Hold right up.
Hey, no,
There you go.
yeah. So
Thunderbird.
he's had some very interesting stories. So I want to thank everybody. We really, this year at the state fair, we had a lot of entries. A lot more than we've had in the past. John Engler won 2 ribbons, Patty won 3.
Wow.
Troy won 2 blue ribbons, Clinton won 2 blue ribbons. So we had, there was entries there that didn't win anything. So we really, and others that won ribbons too. I mean, we weren't the only ones that won ribbons. So I just want to thank everybody for entering the budget did this year. All the entries. The other thing is, at the fair, I succumbed to the heat when I first got there. So I had to turn around and leave. So I just want to thank everybody else for enduring that. I don't see Carl here.
He's out in Seattle on a trip.
His wife had some difficulty while she was there too, I believe.
Yeah.
And that the heat was very hot that day, and then being inside the building, it was not, it was air circulation, so but it still circulated a lot of hot air. I'm glad everybody had a good time. I wish I could have been there, because I know it's a ton of fun to talk to all the people. C included. And, so thank you, and that's it. Now, we're going to have the award ceremony for the Blue Ribbons next month. Because, I don't get notified of the official, state fair until the middle of September. This year, we know who the people are, and we could, but, I wanted to wait till we got the official notification to make the presentations, so that'll be next month. And I think maybe what we should do is just every year make it official that we don't make any of those presentations until October. That way we can do them all at once, and everybody, when I contact the winners, I can tell them when they can expect to make their presentation. So,
Yeah.
again, thanks to everybody for entering, and thanks for showing up, and
Thanks for all your hard work. And we really appreciate all the effort you put into this. It's a way to elevate our presence and awareness of what we do. So this is one of the few places we go, and I think we get a lot of good exposure there. We even had Kellen, he's 12 years old. He showed up, spent most of the day there. That shows people that even a younger fellow like that can make some nice stuff, eat a couple nice pieces there. All right.
Patty has,
We're impressed that we have 12-year-olds sitting at the saw demonstrating. So,
Yeah, it helped a lot.
Patty has a question.
Patty?
I just want to make a special thanks to Don for making the effort to pick up pieces, bring them out to the fair, bring them back, even though he had no pieces to put in himself.
Yep.
Extra.
Thank you, Don, again. We all appreciate what you've done. All right, the Woodworkers Guild. That will be held Saturday, October 12th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the State Fair Progress Center. I think that it was used to be the Eco Building or whatever up on that kind of north end, if I'm correct. We're getting a free 10x10 booth for our display. Now, after last year, maybe Angela can fill us in on this, but the club, their club, didn't bring in enough money to break even is all they want to do, but you have to bring in some revenue. So this year, instead of charging attendees, they decided to charge the exhibitors. Well, we don't really sell anything. We're not quite like Rockner, and so I wrote back to I forget the fellow's name now again, but
Ron Lawson?
Ron, yeah, Ron. And we were originally gonna charge us $100 for a table, and I said, well, gosh, Ron, we don't really do anything, don't sell anything, and they wanted us there, so he agreed, and I think you would maybe had some influence in that, that we would get a free table. So we got at least a 10x10 table, or 10-foot long table. And I don't know how many saws we would want to have, Troy, 1 or 2, or?
I have 5, so.
Well, I don't think we need 5.
We said 2, 1 at each end.
Okay.
It works real well. We've done it before.
I've got 2 walls right now, which might be done, or 2 of it. I've got a wall and a jet that I can bring you.
I mean, I could bring one also, not a problem.
All right, well, why don't you two guys agree on, you two guys talk to each other and see what we'd like to bring. And if you need any help or whatever. And that is in October on the 12th, a Saturday. So from 9 to 4. So hopefully they'll have some decent weather. I don't know if the buildings are heated anymore, but at least we'd be indoors. It was fine at Canterbury. And we did, the one that was outside, that was a tough year. Remember that, John?
Yeah.
That was like the opposite of the state fair. Okay,
That will do that.
the State Fair Progress Center.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's the Eco Building in the north end. It is
It's in the
on the far north end there,
it would be the northwest end.
northwest corner.
Northeast.
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 Northeast corner, sorry.
House Grove Street, if that means anything.
It's in that same line with the,
It's just down, just keep going down.
yeah. 4-H and just keep going. It's that one.
Okay, is there a certain entrance that we use to get into the fair?
Now that I don't
No,
know.
the fair's not going on, the fairgrounds are open, the regular streets, anyone can drive through them. So it shouldn't be an issue. But sometimes some of the events, they have it locked up, you have to go down there, maybe. I think this is probably small enough, I don't think they're gonna block it.
Yeah, we'll let you know as the time gets closer.
Well, we're gonna have one more meeting
Yeah,
before that anyway.
Yeah, perhaps we can publish the brochure on that and it probably tell you where you can come in and
right.
where to drop the stuff.
Yeah.
And probably have to go around the back of the building in one of those doors.
It looks to me like that entrance off of Snelling there, the main entrance is permanently blocked. And they've got
Oh,
humongous, concrete blocks across there that look permanent.
oh, so you can't come in that east end.
Is there a lot of
The front gates are usually open, aren't they?
What?
The front gates?
Well, some will be open. Yeah.
Yeah, the gate is where you usually have to go in, to drop off your stuff. You circle all the way around.
On south there, where like home one, the south end,
No.
No.
On the north.
the north end,
Nope.
Dan Patch,
You go up and patch, but
north end.
you have to.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have signs out.
No. Go in on the north side before you get to the fairgrounds. The very first northern boat there,
Yeah,
you go around, they get a security booth there,
all right.
everything, and you have to go around there.
Well, they'll make a map and we'll find out. Okay. Another thing we're gonna do here, I think, we should talk about St. Luke's Holiday Market. Friday, November 8th, noon to 7, and Saturday, November 9th, 9 to 3. Now, it'll be right here, probably in this room and that room. And we get a table and we pay like somewhere between $25 and $40. And we can sell some of our excess projects and proceeds would go to the club treasury. So in the past, we've donated the ornaments to Creekside Boutique, but we don't have that anymore. So I was thinking if we took part in this, we could donate anything we have in our basements that we don't want anymore. Put a little price on it, whatever. And if we can get some volunteers to man that table for a couple of days, we can sell the stuff off and we'll just put the proceeds in the club treasury. Any discussion on that?
And November 7th.
That would be Friday, November 8th and Saturday, November 9th.
Our meeting's on the second.
Yeah, our meeting is the week before.
Yeah.
So if we did want to donate stuff and have it in there, we could bring it to the November meeting and then we'll bring it in the next week and set it up. So it's from noon to 7 on Saturday, it's 9 to 3 on noon to 7 on Friday and 9 to 3 on Saturday. So you can sign up for one day or the other, or both, wouldn't matter. But we're gonna need some volunteers to do it. So. How many people would be willing to donate some of the stuff they have in their basement? That's
I mean,
just gathering
projects?
dust. Warren? All right.
What kind of stuff?
Well, like we've done those ornaments in the past, you could do ornaments, this is a holiday thing, so anything, Thanksgiving, Christmas, anything like that. Anything that we could kind of sell, not terribly expensive and generate a few dollars. John,
I've got a couple things.
all right, would you be willing to man the table for a few hours?
Friday.
All right,
Well, not for Saturday.
Saturday, okay. Well, maybe we should send around a sign up sheet. Maybe we'll get that ready after break and we'll send that around. Anybody that's interested, go ahead and sign up. And I'd like to thank all the volunteers that help with all the projects and events we do throughout the year. You know, between TLC Toys and all these other events, the participation of our club members is what makes all this go and what makes us a decent club. So I think give yourselves a hand. But we all appreciate that, and that's what makes us go, and that's what makes it a good club, people volunteering. So I think that's all the new business. Any old business that we have anything to bring up? All right, let's have our show and tell, and then we'll take a short break. Who would like to start? Mike Snyder?
I don't have anything brand new. This is stuff I've made in the past. But I had left it at the fair because my bus had to head out where the fair was supposed to go. So one thing that I had brought with me was how to make a bowl from a flat board. And this piece of walnut has some flaws in it. And so you could actually see where the little hole that was in the original board ended up going through on the bowl. And you can pass the bowl around at it. So it's just an example of something that was different that we could show at the show. One thing I just want to make a comment about at the state fair is we didn't have any examples of intarsia at our booth. And I was very disappointed. I mean, we had lots of wonderful trademark and things, but I don't know. I know we've got a lot of other examples out there. I thought there'd be something, so I didn't bring up my one example that I have.
Well, I think what we needed was some smaller piece, because you have everything in a suitcase or whatever, so.
The other thing that I brought with me that very few people get to see once in a while is a secret opening box. And this box opens up with a great big drawer like this. Turns out that this is all done on the Scrollsaw. There's 53 pieces here. And almost all of the pieces are in this very thin layer. And they allow the doors and windows to slide sideways, up and down. And when the box is fully locked, you have to figure out, you have to move the door up, and then this window over here, and this window there, and this goes here, and once those windows are there, so it takes about 12 to 15 moves to open up this box. It's just another example. There's a lot of other facts in front work.
What kind of medication do you have to take to manage building that?
Just need to do like, you need to be so into puzzles. I go down to Houston a couple months ago to sit in a hurricane. And he had an international puzzle party.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I got more puzzles. Yeah.
Yeah.
My puzzle count is currently at 263 unique puzzles. So I've got a couple of them running around.
Is there a support group for like starting about like?
You always should be.
He's always thinking, he probably never gets a good night's sleep. Katie?
Well, I started this project about 3 years ago. And it went away and sat down into a whole lot of things. I normally don't, this is a Judy Gale Roberts pattern. I just finished it this summer. I normally don't use a glossy, finish, but because I used stones and rocks from Arizona, had to find a way to finish the rocks, and my satin finish didn't work. So I started doing it, and you get finished. But this, I just have not done anything in the last 2-3 years, and that's why it took me so long. It just kind of sat around. I've got a few others, there are 2 or 3 others that are also sitting there waiting to be finished, but now I'm back at it.
Good. That's a nice project. We'll bring that to the state fair next year.
Yeah, it's broken already.
It's a growth already. Roger?
Well, being that they said they were gonna bring the state fair and stuff next week, well, God, brought it for me, but I got a second place on it. And, so I made 2 of these actually. I'm still waiting for Mike to do one. I gave him the pattern. So 5 years ago.
We're still studying.
Yeah, so it was a fun one to do. It's, but, I just like to enter one just to see where it goes. See what happens.
I got second place. I want to see first place.
Next week.
It'll be your next one.
Oh, next year I can't get it. It has to be the year after. Right.
It's a lot bigger.
All right. Thank you, Roger.
Well, we have a family gathering that we do with our family every year. Since we live all around the country, we get together, and that's coming up in October. And so I was sort of looking around to see what I could do to give out with everybody when they come. And I came up with this. Is from who's Steve Good's website. And what this is it's magnet mounted. You can put it on your fridge. You make this out of 1/8" plywood, Baltic birch plywood, and you can take a 12 by 12 sheet and stack them 6 deep, and you cut 3 layers: the front layer, the middle layer, and then the back layer. And so just glue them up together, and you have a nice little framed picture to put on your fridge. You buy the little tiny magnets you put on the back. They're really powerful, works great. So these are my 3 grandsons, and they're now a year older than this. This was last year's get together. So we have that.
What'd you glue the magnets on with?
They're actually supposed to stick themselves,
Okay.
and they did. They stuck on here, but then I put it on the fridge, and they stuck on the fridge.
See, put something
So I
else.
just used some of that super glue and put it on it. Figure it worked. Yep. And then Roger might know I've been doing a lot of these cars. I gave him a each box full of these. And I decided to dress some up and actually finish them off at home. And instead of all of the cars that we give over to TLC, at least the ones I make have number 7s on them. Well, these I have a 1, a 3, and a 5, and that's the ages of my grandsons. And they got to choose the color, their favorite color, although they don't know what they're getting. They know they'll get the color they like, except the 1-year-old, he couldn't figure out yet what his favorite color was. And then in making these too, I found I don't know if any of you have ordered from Casey's Wood Products. They make the wheels and the little people. And they're just a really nice company out in Maine. It's a family owned. You can call them up and you get a person on the phone and you talk to them, and you can order how many you need. You don't need to order 100 wheels or 25 people. You can order the exact number you want. Well, I accidentally ordered just 2 people instead of 3, so this is a riderless car. But the funny thing is, I called back to the company and I said, I need one person, can we do the order over the phone? I can't order it on the computer. The website didn't work, so I called them up. And so the guy goes, okay, that's 25 cents. And shipping, he goes, well, let's see, I think I can just put this in an envelope for you and send it to you. So, I highly recommend that company if you want to work with somebody personally, they're fun to work with, so.
You paid him 25 cents and he put a 70-cent stamp on it.
You know, right.
Or an app.
He sent it as a sample, free, for free.
For free. Wow. That's a nice company. Thank you, Steve. I see one more project up here. There's a couple, probably more.
I'll do this summer. My mom's gonna talk about Judy a little bit. So, if anybody noticed, there's some cookies back here. So, instead of cigars, I give away cookies. This is the 9th time I've done this.
It's on, but it doesn't seem like it.
Anyway. So the 9th time I've done this for my grandchildren. And this is something I made quite a while ago, but a lot of you haven't seen it. This is a balance actually. It goes over the windows in the bedroom where grandchildren, when they come over, this is their room they sleep in. And all these panels slide out of here. Yeah, you can change them up. I can change them with the season. Sometimes I put a Christmas theme panel in there. The one on the left, of course, is Peter Pan. There's the other kids just playing. There's the third one from the left. There is all my grandchildren. I had to add Daniel to the list. So Daniel was born June 15th. He was 14 weeks early. He's still down at Children's in Minneapolis there, but should be coming home Tuesday. He's born at less than 2 pounds. And now he's 5 pounds 13 ounces as of yesterday.
Wow.
So he's doing well, and it's been, it's been a numerous time, but the next one is a silhouette. It was actually made out of a cut pattern. Those are my 3 children, Tim, Todd, and my Katie. Katie has now, the last 4 children on there. Well, not almost. Yeah, William, James, Ethan, and Daniel are her kids. Colin up there is the oldest at 13, and Daniel, of course, is just a couple months old. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. And again, help yourself to a cookie. I don't want to take those home. We should be able to do okay on that. I guess that's it. Very good. Thank you, Warren.
I have a picture, but you said.
Oh.
So this is the other end of the spectrum from everything else that you see here. I'm Mike Evans. I haven't been doing this very long. This is my first attempt at, I guess, an inlay, you'd call it, right?
Yeah.
An old piece of oak from my cabin that blew down in the windstorm, and my family just loved Lake Superior, so I figured I'd throw that in. So it's much better from far away.
That's not my character. This I made, or we've got another wedding coming up next weekend, and so I made him a tree of life again. We're giving a couple. I kind of like making these for weddings. They don't take real long, but a sure nice gift. I think they all love them. Now I have to go over and talk to my friend Jerry today, and he's going to make a plaque that will say Tree of Life, the names of the company, and the date they're getting married. So that really personalizes it and makes a nice gift. This was made out of a piece of eucalyptus wood that I got from, um, oh, the fella down there in Lonsdale. Oh, so Ray Toon, they had his name here, second. Well, Ray gave us all this wood, and I still have some of this, and it has sort of a, I don't know, come up and take a look at it, a bit of a reddish tint to it. And it's really heavy for a piece of even hardwood, so, but yeah. Thank you.
So this is something I made when I first started scrolling. And I thought it was cool for just a silhouette of a skull. And this is something one of my coworkers who wanted me to scroll something after they realized I do scroll spelling. And he asked me every week. When I finally made him one copy of it that looks nicer than this one. And then he actually told me he wanted 2 copies. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then by the time I already found out I was pregnant, so I was like, okay, well, you're gonna have to wait. So I'm gonna do it at my own time. So this one, no, like he didn't describe it, but it's some Hindu or religious scripture.
Yes,
It's kind of like a mantra.
yeah, pattern.
He just showed me the text and I tried to make it work because it didn't have this line in it. And I broke probably like 5 pieces. And I'm gonna try to like steal it a couple more times to hide it back. And just make it look nicer.
Boy, you're a nice coworker to do that.
Yeah, I was really annoyed by the time I like, how can I do it, you know, at this point? It's like, oh, okay, you know.
Well, I just wanted to show a couple of things like here. Maybe some of you don't even know, but back in 2010, we had Judy Gill Roberts up here doing class. I was the only one here that took the class, the 6 of us. Yeah, Bruce took it. And so we had just started as a club in 2009, and I contacted her. They decided to come up and we did a class. She did a program. But so that was what's the date? July 31st, 2010. So yeah, we hadn't even been we were just a club 1 year. So and then I also went down to, so she was up here and did that. And I also went down to Tennessee to her class just in 4 or 5 years ago. But this is, and they gave me a copy of this. This is the kind of the magazine that kicked off in Tarsia. Until then, so Wood Magazine did an article on Judy, and they weren't just calling it mosaics at that time. They weren't even calling it Tarsia yet. Actually, she was nice enough to autograph it for me. But so after this, then at this time she was married to that Jerry Boer. They did a lot of patterns and things together, but they were doing all their cutting in bandsaws. They didn't have Scrollsaws yet, or they didn't. Well, around they weren't using them. So all this stuff she was doing it a few years with her father in Texas, and then well, this took off, and then the next thing you know, they're selling patterns and moved to Tennessee and so forth. So I thought maybe I want to take a peek at that. But really, the entire started. I mean, obviously, it goes back to the 15th century or whatever in a different form, but really started at this magazine in '88, and then they had that owl pattern. You know, I think they still sell that hoot. That, you know, they had some sort of that.
What issue is that?
And what month? Year?
August '88, issue 24.
Wood Magazine.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get this copies of that, but Steve and her husband had somehow they got a box or 2 of only got some old copies and gave me one. So anyway, I think it came on kind of sudden. None of us had known about it, and I was going to call Steve in a few weeks after things settle down and stuff to see how it's going. But it was a really a wonderful experience to go to their shop, and she was Really the best teacher I was ever around.
Absolutely.
Just
Actually,
amazing how she could have, so calm.
yeah, nothing flustered her. If you're on Facebook, you can look on her Facebook page, and if you scroll through all the comments, I think I mean, it was said, but she must have had cancer for a long time, because they talked about they were gonna do dialysis, and then they were going to do a liver transplant, and then she died. She lost consciousness, uh, maybe 6 days ago or 7 days ago. I don't know. I'm not sure when she died, but this is her last project.
Well, the dog.
The dogs,
Yeah,
yeah,
she was working on that when I was down there. It was still in pieces and
yeah.
it's massive.
Yeah, how she ever designed some of those patterns is beyond me. I mean, let alone make them, so. She was quite an artist.
She was commissioned to do for NASA, a picture of the lunar landing.
Oh, she did that, yeah. Oh,
It was huge.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was huge. That was about 5, 6 years ago.
And it hangs at NASA, at one of the NASA places, right?
Yeah,
In Florida, I believe.
In Florida?
Steve Good had, Steve Good had a,
The name, are you asking for the,
I got some of her workshop and stuff, all over pieces up.
Yeah, that's a good, if you get Steve Good's, daily blog or whatever, look at that. Just a couple of days ago, he, right the day after she died, the morning after.
Maybe it was on the website that he has.
Instead of, he didn't publish a pattern that day, he did publish the video of when he was down there. And it goes through her studio, it's very good.
yeah,
Okay. Well, thanks. Clint?
We also lost Kathy Wise
what?
earlier this year.
Really? Oh, really?
Kathy Wise. She was another intern.
What she did? She passed away.
I didn't hear that.
Well, check that out here on the break.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like the two biggest,
Wow.
parts here.
Yeah.
We're in Sterlington about the
Bad year. All right, well, let's take about a 10-minute break here.
Get a cookie.
Get a cookie and more, and we'll come back about 10:35, somewhere in there.
we have to be out of here by 11:30.
We gotta be out of here by 11:30.
From your computer.
Yep, I'm just gonna plug in mine, I'm gonna display it, a couple quick videos.
All right, we have a young man named Rick who has some wood that he's trying to get rid of for a friend of his. It's kind of large for what we do, but you never know. Somebody might need some of this for a project of some kind. Go ahead, Rick.
Hi there. Get some, big timbers left over from a home remodeling project. The original source of this was a building in Hopkins. It was deconstructed as a post beam building, so all the stuff has been in a, heated or cool, environment, so not, loaded up with spiders or anything like that, so. This is a short piece. I've got several other shorter pieces and longer pieces as well. You guys might be too big for your folks doing, but you know, through connections and networking, you might know somebody who might need has a big saw that can cut these things down into some sort of fireplace mantles or things like that.
What species is it?
We believe it to be Douglas fir, but it's definitely old growth because the rings are
Yeah,
tightly
really tight.
packed on that. So at any rate, you got my phone number.
Yep.
And so my name is Rick. I'll give it out now. So my name is Rick. Phone number is 952-393-8105. And just trying to keep this from being turned into firewood or in a landfill someplace. So thank you very much for your interest and time.
Thank you, Rick. Better look at it, raise your hand, Rick will bring it back there.
Sit out your lap for it.
He loves carrying it around. Here's the sign up sheet for the St. Luke's Holiday Bazaar. If you're interested, just put your name on. Maybe which day you could work, Friday or Saturday would be good. All right. Our program for today, I'll turn that over to Troy.
Sorry, thanks for, so I'm gonna cut the program a little short today just because we need to be out of this space and they were nice enough to let us work. Be in this side since the other side didn't work out for us. But what I do have 2 videos I want to share with you. I have one, which is from a company in Canada that I got permission to talk about today. It's a quick video going over different types of scroll stuff. I think it's gonna be really interesting for our new people. They're gonna talk about parallel arm versus parallel link arm. What's the difference? Why you might want one or the other? And I thought I was gonna try to explain it when you did something a year later. I'm like, they did a better job than I could. So I'm gonna show that. And then I want to let you know that now next month, what we have planned, Carl's not here today, but Carl has a DeWalt scroll saw that has some bad bearings. I'm actually going to completely disassemble his saw in front of everyone and replace the bearing and show you how it's done. So that should be a really interesting program. And I told him I could do it in an hour. We're gonna see if I'm lying. I've done it a bunch of times and it's usually pretty fast, but you know stuff never goes fast. Today. And then in November, this is a really good one if you're new. And we're gonna have, for sure, I will have 3 scroll saws because they're my scroll saws. I will have a Hawk, a Jet, and a DeWalt. And I gotta talk to John, maybe get a Hagner. I'd like to get a Hagner, we'll see. We will have at least 3 scroll saws in here, and I will be talking about what's the difference of each saw. I'm keep that brief. And then I'm gonna let anyone who wants to come up and try one of these saws give it a shot, because it's not like you can walk into a store and try one of these saws out. You can't go somewhere and try a Hawk out. You can't go somewhere and try a Hagner out. Nobody has it. I don't even think you can try it. Maybe you can try it. It's a wall of it, Rockwood. But so I just thought it'd be an interesting way for, if you're thinking, maybe I want a new saw, maybe I want to upgrade to a 12, but I've never tried a Hagner. I've never tried a Jet. And the Jet is the same thing as like a Seiko, and we'll go into that. But so just to let you know, October, November, you definitely want to be here. We're gonna have a really great, some really great presentations. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and just take me a second here to get this going, and we'll get the first video. Oh, we have the first video going is gonna be about scroll saws, and then we're gonna do a shop tour. Warren, we're gonna use yours. It is nice and short. I was gonna use Mike's, but it's a little long. Okay, so all right. This is a pretty short video. It's only about 8 minutes long, but it's really important. Maybe. There.
We're from Stockton Supply. Today, we're going to talk about scroll saws and the different kinds of scroll saws there are. There are different brands. We'll talk about different types. So that means like a C-arm scroll saw, a parallel arm scroll saw, or a double barrel arm linkage scroll saw. We're going to talk about not one but then we're going to have pros and cons, like I'm going through, what makes each one fit. With the C-arm scroll saw, which I honestly you're going to see very often. When you're fortunate to show you, but that's a picture. Where you got that C-arm here, they were really popular in the 90s, they also made it way through these. You have one point right there, and one little point on the motor. This the air C-arm is one solid piece. Now you can kind of see that's going to move the angle quite a bit this direction, and on the blade, this direction option higher. So peak for a very, very aggressive cutting scroll saw. Which honestly, people that have this all love that reason because they cut really, really quickly with the machine aggressive and best. You can also do that. So if you're not doing fine detail work, this isn't necessarily going to allow you to do that because it is going to cut very fast, very fast. Quite hard to follow the line. Let's see how it takes up. The most popular saw that you're going to find is this guy right here. Either called a pair of a picture in, you can kind of, you got a top bar here, two points there, and a one on the motor. We turn the crank on it, because I can fully see exactly what can happen. What these are to do. So each one, you got the hook into the middle, the spring, they're gonna move up and down like that. So that's gonna keep that blade, rather than going back and forth this way so much, it's gonna keep it extremely parallel up and down. So that allows for really, really precise, really accurate cuts. So these are also the most common saws, because they're kind of simplest to make. They're quite nice little machine. This is the Harlem version. We all down to some quite a good practice on like the Ryobi and right on the smooth machine. Now we gotta go over to the double pair. With the scalper. This is kind of the first one that ever existed. This is made in Canada. Other double parallel solo. And then based off this design. Here, this one machine, so we have the wall, which is the common machine here. So far more complicated. But cool on their own right. So I got a little diagram here. This gives you an idea of what's going to happen. You get a motor in the back, and then you're going to block this in the middle, and a whole bunch of different pivot points. So when I turn this on, turn this on. Now, that's pretty cool. Okay, Bill. That's moving up and down like that. It actually gives the blade a little bit more range of movement this way. So these are a little bit more aggressive, which is not necessarily a bad thing. They don't develop arms on, but you can tend to, if you're not careful, overcut the line a little bit easier with these guys here, because they are just a little bit more aggressive. Now, also, the pretty cool thing about these, I'm going to do this here. This arm will lift up. So that makes it really nice, because that could be not only a top feeder, but also a bottom feeder. They have kind of both options for how you change the control, you change it on the bottom. Now, the anything in. A lot of the strength for the tension on these machines is derived from this bar right here. This bar does not move up and down. Nice and strong bar right here. All these motors that connect the blade and make the blade move up and down don't need to be extremely heavy, especially on this side of the steering. So they're quite light, which means there's less moving mass, generally a little bit less vibration. When we go over to the back of the parallel control, the upper and lower arm got to be quite big, quite robust, take the tension of that blade right there. So these, well, now the hangers are different story because it's so well made and multiple tires, measure. And sometimes on the less expensive side, you are going to get a lot more vibration than you would on these soft ones. Now, with that, one of the couple issues with these guys right here. You look again at my diagram. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 13 different linkages, 13 different bearings. And we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different parts in making these blades go up and down. And these parts are generally a little bit lighter to reduce the vibration. These saws here, because they are so complicated, you require far more maintenance than the standard parallel on machine. So just be aware of that. Because anytime you have lots of moving parts, lots of bearings, you're going to do lots of maintenance that is different. That's just the way it is, which is fine. Now, rarely anyone would ever keep it. Is what happens when we break a blade. Let's go over to the hanger here. Now, I've got my side getters here. I'm just going to set my blade out. Okay. So I broke my blade. Let's turn this on. Let's see what happens. So this bond is just kind of loosened there, the top is doing nothing. Making all sorts of noise. So that's what happens with a parallel arm saw. Let's go over to a double parallel. You would bring your way. It is real. See what happens. Now, when we're talking about free, that is moving up and down. So you're gonna be knocking the pin on your finger underneath that little top of the blade. If you open it just like a wood pack. And it doesn't feel very nice. So that is one consideration that not only with the double barrel or a saw like this, that blade is always gonna be, it's always gonna be still dangerous on the top there. Not as dangerous, like any of these machines, the bottom not the problem, it's usually the top that you gotta be concerned about. So yeah, if you aware that also the same issue on the C arm saw. Where if you break the blade, that blade is still going to be. So one thing taken into consideration. Yeah, if anybody else has any questions, you can email me at info@stockroomsupply.com. First call on it, now if you want to see future innovation, it is a little bell stuff.
Makes sense. The main part I wanted everyone to see, so. So, like I said, this video was just one I found online from this woodworking supply company. I wrote to them, they said, go ahead, feel free to show us everyone you want. But I thought it was just a really good way to kind of show you what's the difference between these two types of saws. You don't really see the C-arm saws anymore, like you said. They aren't made anymore. And I think there's quite a few people that maybe still use them. There's nothing wrong. It's just you don't see them anymore. You can't get parts for them. So that's why he focused on the two types. And those are the two types you're going to see. Now I'm trying not to get into the weeds and stuff, because I know I do really. I tend to go off on that kind of stuff and get into the weeds. If you want to know more about Scrollsaws, we can talk for hours. I know lots about all these different saws. Who makes what, why, what one you want, how to fix them, whatever, but I'm not gonna do that today. So I thought it was a really, you know that Excalibur he has? That is an ancient Excalibur. That is like one of the first Excaliburs that was ever made. It's belt driven, but the thing is, Excalibur, the basic form is still exactly the same. So it's actually still really good video. But as I said, next month we are going to go take apart the wall, and we'll see all the bearings go, how it's all take apart, how it works, and then in November we'll have like the whole different sauce for everyone to try. But like I said, if you have questions about Scrollsaws, you just reach out to me. I can talk all day. My wife's tired of hearing about myself. Feel free to reach out to me. And then the next video we're going to do a short video I have here of Warren's shop tour. We'll go ahead and play that here. It's only about 8 minutes, and then I want to get clear out. They were nice enough to let us move over to the side. I don't want to be in their way so that they can have their funeral luncheon today.
Is this from our shop tour?
It is. I think so.
Back, I think it was 2020, Mike and I did, how many different tours did we do?
Oh,
My shop did 4 or 5.
yeah, years ago, dude, it's like those.
Yeah.
I'm Warren Schank. City Hall Forum, my shop. Simple, you know. No. Radio. That's really. You. For. Box. She's so many but if you go to Helen's, the wire size. Small as this.
it's there, I mean, pretty is. Move on, I got, who's Scrollsaws? Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, so good. It's, somebody Excalibur, my first show I remember. Yeah. Some, it's fine. You were together, it's, and it's, we upgrade. So, we'll use one. They still, it. And, that's a lot of that, the little fan, but still low, it's great. It's good for. It's really great. It's just one thing. Going. Right, so is that, this is not like, okay, it's that side and it's yeah. And it has the best work, so, yeah. So. Well, this is a whole picture. No. Yeah, scares me, little things. Space door. Reading. Just, it's a son of that. Would you get it really? Well. It's not a mission on a house. Kind of greasy and warm up there. So that's why you see that the main deck windows here. But the music single is something. It's not deep, yeah. The cookies always one of the just about suddenly being like just you can say standing go, yeah. Go. And then out here, I have my air filtration system right there. It was, that was, exactly where like, this, bring a little bit over in the air, please. Each. Yeah, no. So, there's a lot. What else did you? We all strong. Like explain, sit down, and it's your room, your student. Well, we got all the things, more than one, we're in the show. You want this very skill center. It's that comes in handy, I'll say what it's on making tools. Sports, here's a little learning, because even It's still here. So, yep. This was another little one. Exactly. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I work very well. And, you know, like water and stuff. One times or something. We'll see. We'll put that in 10. So. But he's pretty much seen, but yeah, a whole bunch of them just he's doing pretty good. He's one of my games. Well, my name is kind of walk over and do it more. Maybe. And one, I yeah, more things are being sequence ball here, basket, baby basket, or yeah, snares. We I can't stand my family guy. I didn't know my son. Play with mine. But I got mom guys, so you're not, so it's like, we're used to. Yeah, used to me, not a lot. Right. What's in the cabinet? They have sleep, I got my son, the circle. Yeah. Yeah. Blue. That's. Really good plot. Like. It's pretty much, yeah, I think we. You know, so. I think we're saying that.
Well, I talk a little bit more about that. So my whole point, Mike mentioned that he had these shop tours, and I thought it'd be kind of interesting because we all have different spaces we work in. Now, Warren, I'm a little jealous. You have a really nice space there. Inside in the basement, mine in the garage, taking over my garage. But I wanted to make a point too that we're gonna probably see some other ones, which maybe do some new ones, because there's a long time ago I used to watch New Yankee Workshop. I'm sure you guys probably seen Norman Abram and Yankee Workshop, and I used to I have some of his books. And in one of his books, he mentioned that people tell me that if I had all your tools, I could make that too. If I had all that beautiful equipment, I could make all the stuff you make. And he's like, no, you wouldn't do anything better than you do now. It's not the equipment you have, it's how you use it. So you don't need the top, the top of the line, large bandsaw. A good scroll saw is important, but you don't need a $5,000 table saw, or you don't need a lot. I kind of want to make that point is that you'll see as some of us have, some of these people do, some of us who have really nice equipment for different reasons. But my point being that you don't have to go broke and remortgage your house to have a nice shop. Warren does beautiful stuff. Warren, I really, that, Lance, yeah, was really neat. I mean, I've seen a lot of yours. You do great stuff. And you have a small shop. It's not huge. You don't have a gigantic pole barn full of, you don't have the Niki workshop, and you do beautiful work. So that's kind of why I wanted to show these shops, give everyone an idea and maybe get some ideas. Oh, you know what? I saw so and so do that. That's kind of a neat idea. Maybe I'll do that as well. And so that's kind of why I wanted to share those with you guys today. I do have some other ones. Maybe we'll make some more too that will sprinkle in along. Like I said, we got a little bit of time. But like I said, we do want to get out of here because they were nice enough to let us move over to the side. And then hopefully we're in this space next month. We'll see.
Yeah.
Depends. If not, that one will work fine if we can get it working. Yeah. And we'll do the tear down of the DeWalt next month. And then like I said, in November, we'll do the Scrollsaw demonstrations. Like I said, I hope you found the other video informative. I think it's kind of interesting to learn how these saws work, why they're different. There's, like I said, if you really want to go into the weeds, I'll tell you all about it because I own several of both types. I have owned several of both types. I haven't had one at Hagner, but it's pretty similar to a Hawk, from my understanding, what John tells me, and how it works. So, yeah. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. We did a couple classes last year at the Minnesota Tool Library. They did call me or contact me again about possibly doing one this December. I'll bring it up again. I don't know if anyone's interested in doing that again in November, December again. But we just need a couple of volunteers that have to go help do it. It's a class like Girl Scouts where we go in and we teach at the Tool Library in Northeast Minneapolis. So on that, I'll hand out to Mike and let him finish off here.
Okay, thank you, Troy. Yeah, so I think that about wraps it up for today. Does anybody else have any questions, anything to add? We had the sign up sheet go around. Where is that at? Katie's got it. So let's see who's signed up for that. If you're interested in working at the bazaar in November. Anybody else have any questions? Anything to add?
You have the signups, who's gonna be at the, Woodland Show thing in the same program?
Do we have that yet? The Woodworkers Guild, we haven't sent a sign up sheet. Should we do that online?
Make one up right now, sign before you go.
Yeah.
I do have
All right, got another piece of paper, we'll send that around.
Or just set it on the table.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pass it.
Let people come and help. We don't have to blast off right now, but we can end the meeting. And then if you want to leave, you go right ahead. So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Danny's motion to adjourn the meeting, second. Warren, all in favor? Opposed? All right, see you next month. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, you're Monday. Your shop was. This is your job. Now, home will fire up the schools on this. 120 months. Yes.